Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, hi! My name is Natasha and it's fantastic to have you here. For today's video, we're doing some kitchen witchery, and I'm really excited about this one because this is one of my favorite fall desserts. We're making pumpkin pie, but witchy. So I have this Unofficial Hocus Pocus Cookbook by Bridget Thorson, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And I've been playing around with this. There's lots of fantastic recipes in here that are really cute and like spooky and really plays upon the theme. But I was excited to see a pumpkin pie recipe. So that's what we're doing today. We're gonna follow this whole recipe together, but make it witchy. The one thing that you need to either have or already have prepared before we do this is the pie crust. So there is a recipe in the back should you want to make it, or store-bought is just fine. This particular recipe makes 2 pie crusts. I have already done the recipe, made the pie over here, the pie crust over here. I tried out one of the crusts with a quiche recipe and it was really good. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so before we do anything, we need to preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. So make sure you have that started. And then the ingredients. So besides the pie crust that we already have, we will need a 15-ounce can of pumpkin puree. Then we will need a can of evaporated milk, so a 12-ounce. This is a 12 fluid ounce. And then 1 cup of light brown sugar, and then 3 large eggs, a tablespoon of all-purpose flour, and a ½ teaspoon of salt, which I just combined in one bowl, we'll call it. And then comes the spices. Now, I urge you to take a look at my pumpkin spice video that I made recently about the properties of each spice, why pumpkin pie is a magical dish and why pumpkin spice is a magical dish. And they're all combined in here. So there is 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, a ½ teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and an 1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves. And then that's all you need. So I'm really excited to put this all together. So let's get going. We're gonna take the 3 eggs and beat them in a small bowl together so they're all mixed well. And it should look a little something like this. Yay. So in a large bowl, whether you have a stand mixer or you do it by hand or a hand mixer, we're gonna put in the large bowl all of the rest of the ingredients. So in goes the pumpkin puree. Next in goes the brown sugar. That came out really quick. The flour and salt. Oh, and the oven says it's ready. Then we have our lovely spices that go in. The evaporated milk, make sure you shake it well when it's in the can before you open it. And that goes. And last, the eggs you just beat. And your last step before we do filling the pie is we just blend it all together to make sure everything is combined and looks good. There shouldn't be any real big lumps or clumps or anything like that with the filling. So as long as you see it all smoothed out and combined, you should be good. So here is the pie crust that I made from the recipe in the book. This particular recipe uses shortening, so that's why you see a lot of the white spots around here. That's vegetable shortening firming up. So it'll bake through and be fine once everything is in the oven, but that's why it looks a little wonky. But I want to talk about what we can do to make this a little bit more witchy. And you can use this opportunity in a pie crust to put protection sigils, protection symbols, or anything you want to add to the pie to bring in. So love, abundance, protection, like I said, etc. And you can just carve it into the pie crust. And then also, if you're going to bring this to a family event, whatnot, they won't know that you did it because it's in the crust. They won't see it. So if you're afraid of like being outed as a witch or whatever, it won't be seen because it's baked into the cake on the bottom. So, and you're not carving all the way through, you're just indenting it. So it'll be something like this. So I'm going to just lightly put in a pentacle. And I'm just using a knife. But again, this is all about intent. So make sure that you are infusing your intent within the pie crust as you're doing this. So it doesn't have to be perfect because again, it's not going to be seen. It will, however, add a little bit more oomph to your baked good. So then all we got to do is pour the pie crust in. Let me just pour this in. I might have too much. I'm going to stop there. This isn't a deep dish pie crust, so I'll use that for like something else. Maybe I can make some cupcakes or something with it. But this is it. You leave it like this. Sometimes I like to just tap out the air bubbles. Then you just put it in the oven and let it bake for 15 minutes. And then after that 15 minutes, we're gonna reduce the heat on the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and bake for an additional 35 minutes. And then it says, if the crust appears to be baking too quickly, use foil to cover the edges of the pie crust. So whilst I have this little bit left, I also wanted to talk about if you're not using a stand mixer, but if you're using a hand mixer or you're combining the ingredients by hand yourself, about stirring methods. So since I'm using this pie as bringing in abundance, bringing in love and protection, I'm gonna wanna stir clockwise. Yes, it took me a minute. So I'm gonna stir clockwise. If I'm using this dish to repel or to banish anything, I'm going to stir the opposite way. Again, using my intent, whether I say it out loud or in my head. So thinking about what you're bringing in, using your intention for exactly what it is. That way, again, you're adding a little bit of magic into your dish. You're preparing with intent and with those properties in mind. So pumpkin pie with all of the spices and the ingredients is actually a very protected dish. So it's something that's made for abundance, protection, love. And since a lot of the spices are symbolized by fire, that's going to come in quick. So it's a great recipe to bring that into your home, into your family's home, and you're number one, making it with love. So it's a wonderful dish. Now, I know there's a lot of people that don't particularly like the taste of those spices or pumpkin in general, but you can also use this. If you're not a fan of pumpkin, you can use it for use those spices in the apple pie as well. So similar properties. And speaking of, pumpkin is again a magical, is it a fruit? Do you consider it a fruit? But it brings in abundance and prosperity too. So again, you're just overly doing it with all of the properties. They all converge into one and make this very potent dish. Alrighty, so it is done. It was left to cool on a cooling rack for about an hour, and let's check it out. Oh my gosh, look at how cute that is. Those are fork imprints, just to check and see if it was the right consistency, it wasn't runny inside, because if that does happen, go ahead and keep it in the oven for a little bit longer. Different altitudes cook at different times, so keep that in mind as well. And the crust ended up being a really nice golden brown color, not too dark, so it didn't burn. That's fantastic to see. This is the first time I'm using this little pie pan with the pumpkin top. I found that thrifting, so yay. But we're gonna go ahead and cut it open and see how it tastes. All right, let's cut into this beautiful, gorgeous piece of work here. is almost a shame having to cut into it. Normally, I like my pies a little chilled, but room temp will be fine. It's also still a little bit warm, so. Shout out to my mom for purchasing this for me. I absolutely love this little knife spatula pie contraption. Fantastic. I guess, I don't know where she got it, but I love it. All right, let's give it a taste test. Okay, look a hot mess. Don't judge. I was in the kitchen. All right, here we go. It's really good. I think it'll be even better for me personally once it's refrigerated and chilled a little bit and it has whipped cream on it. I totally forgot to make whipped cream, but that's okay. We're just gonna sit and enjoy. The great thing about making your pie from scratch is that you can add in exactly how much spice you want. Cut out enough that you don't want. So it just is super personal. You can get it exactly how you want it. I feel personally that the bottle of pumpkin spice that has all of the spices in it together that you get at the grocery store, it's not strong enough for me. I like intensity. There's my baby. I like a little bit of intensity in my pie, pumpkin pie. So this does it for me. You can taste all of the different spices coming together. I added it like a little bit more than recommended in the clove department, but it tastes just right for me. So I'm really excited. The pie crust is really smooth and flaky at the same time. It feels really good as a consistency, so that's fantastic. I've never made a pie crust with vegetable shortening in it before, so that was really interesting to me. There's a little bit of a difference. So do I recommend this recipe? Yes, it's a pretty basic pumpkin pie recipe. Now keep in mind that this was the pie crust that was made from the recipe in the book. I do recommend this book if you want some fun fall projects and cookery to do, because there's a lot of different types of recipes in there. There's desserts, there's cocktails, there's mocktails, and there's fun meals as well as appetizers. So there's a little bit of everything for everyone. So I recommend it. Just watch out. A couple of the recipes seem to be missing a little bit of instructions, like preheating an oven or that you even have to bake something. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you're always reading your recipes through first before you begin. That way you won't be messing up or you won't be caught up in an interesting situation. So let me know if you're gonna try this out, if you're excited about fall season, pumpkin pie, etc., and if you want more cooking videos, because this is very fun for me to add a witchy spin on classics and getting to share homemade love with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on your way out of this video. That way you will never miss an upload from me. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.